Hello, Mr. Joe. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. Very well indeed.
Mr. Joe, how is your life going? How is the quarantine treating you? Now that it's over, but still, how was it?
Um, I think I think each country's had its own challenges, and I think the UK. I think it's all very easy to go and lock society down and switch everything off, but getting things back to some sense of normality is the struggle. So for us, I've got multiple businesses, so closing all of those and sending everybody home and managing all of that, and also how you kind of work your way through that was quite challenging, and it was very difficult, but I had lots to do and I kept very busy. I've got a young family as well, so I was able to keep occupied. So now that we've in the UK it's relaxed a lot more, and my shops are open again. We're just trying to just see what's left on the other side.
Mr. Joe, when the lockdown started, all the businesses were closed and everybody was quite worried. But still, you were working on the articles and you were coming up with the things and you were still interacting with people. So I just want to know that how was that feeling? Like you were not able to go to the shop and you were still treating with the customers. So how was it?
Yeah, so I'm quite lucky that my life's quite diverse. I get to do lots of different things, and the shops and my team and the clients is a big part of my life and has been since I was 15, and I'm 51 now. So that's a real part of what I identify as. That's a thing that when people ask you what you do, and then having that taken away, there was a sense of loss and a sense of grief, I guess, to it's a low level. So I had to kind of manage that, and I was very fortunate that I still had stuff going on, like you said, with articles and interviews and stuff like that. So it was, so it kind of made me refocus, I guess, and made me think about things differently. And I think that you have to look at a positive in everything, and that's one of the things I do. And I think what it's given me some time to kind of reframe how I think about things, and I think that's the same for most people. I think we've all had an opportunity to sit and go, hang on, what is my life and what do I want my life to be? And I tend to be someone who's very busy all the time, and I don't often stop and breathe and sit and go, okay, what's next? So so I've got to look at a positive in all of this.
Oh, that's good. And Mr. Joe, firstly, I want to tell you that how much I admire you, because you have been styling for GQ, you have been styling for Esquire, you have been styling for different magazines and for different photographers. So I just want to say that you are amazing. Like, I love your work. And
Thank you.
You actually own Mills, you own Joe and Co, and you actually own the Lounge. So are these three different things, or they are the same business with three different names?
No, so they're all very individual brands. So we've also got a fourth one called Yard Sale as well. My journey started originally with the Lounge, which was my first store in Soho in central London, and it was kind of just somewhere for people to hang out and get their hair cut, guys and girls. It was just really just very open, and I started that nearly 30 years ago, and that had a very individual feeling about it. Then I realised that a lot of the guys that were coming in weren't able to get in because we were so busy. So then I opened a completely different brand called Joe and Co, which is the barber shop. And Joe and Co was very much focused on real traditional, barbering, shaving, beards and hair, but also kind of giving it a modern twist and thinking about things differently. And then off the back of that, I got approached by Primark in the UK to do Mills, which is a totally different brand yet again. It has similar ethos behind everything else, but it's still very individualized because it's aimed at the Primark customer and what we're doing with Primark. And then Yard Sale, which is something we opened at the end of last year, is where we sell vintage kind of vinyl clothing and do haircuts as well. So each of them are very standalone businesses and very different brands under one big umbrella, which is me, I guess. So yeah.
Well, that is good. That is great. And Mr. Joe, I want to ask you that when did you start Joe and Co? And what is that thing that makes you stand out from the rest?
So Janko's about nearly 10, I think it's 10 years old in September. What stands us out from the rest is that it's honest, and there's no pretense. Everyone's handpicked. Everyone has really extensive experience, but we retrain constantly, and we're constantly working on how we can push boundaries and how we can take things to the next level. So, and I think what clients get from us is something that's very different in the world of barbering to a lot of our competition.
That is good. And you have been in this business for like almost 35 years.
Yeah.
And you must have seen this thing evolving. Like you must have seen the evolution of the style and the stylists as well. So I actually want to ask you that, was it difficult for you to keep up with the pace of the evolution?
I think from a business perspective, no, because when you're a small independent business guy, you have to be reactionary and you have to be able to evolve. And even where we are today, it's different to 6 months ago, and 6 months is different to 6 years ago. So there's a constant shift, and you just have to keep on top of that. I think from a styling and from a fashion perspective, and about what trends that are coming through and stuff like that, I think for me, I consume a lot. I have a lot of time when I'm traveling, not so much now, obviously, because of the world's changed, but before I used to spend a lot of time in the States working and around Europe, working with different clients and traveling. So I would consume a lot of old movies, pop videos, magazines, books. I've got a massive archive of just images that I consume all the time. So when I work with big brands and talk about how hair and fashion is changing, I've always got photographic kind of reference points to how I can talk it through. So for me, the evolvement of how hair changes, things do come and go. And at the moment, because of lockdown, a lot of guys didn't get their hair cut. So now longer hair is becoming more of a thing, where, we were talking about that 2 years ago, but it takes a while for it to come through. So what you find is that, within fashion, and especially with men, with guys, that stuff comes and goes. So you'll have like short hair, no beard, long beards, and things just evolve. So you just have to look around. And I'm really lucky where I am in Soho in central London, that we've got some really cool stores around us. Stores like Supreme and Patta and Palace, which are real kind of real streetwear that the younger guys are wearing, and you can kind of see trends developing just outside the door. So you just have to see
now
that.
they are more experimental. Like they're experimenting everything. Like when it comes to style, like even if it's
Correct.
like the hairstyles, when it comes to clothing, and when it comes to skin routine, they are evolving. Like everything is evolving right now. And most of the people who were hesitant using those products, they are moving in that direction now. They are worried about their skin. They are worried about their color, like as in the hair. They are actually worried about it.
Yeah, so I think 15 years ago, most guys would just use whatever's in the bathroom, or whatever they got their hands on. It could just be a bar of soap, or whatever shampoo was there. And I think that the landscape's changed. I think guys want to know what they should be using, whether they should be using an SPF for their skin, or they need the right shampoo, or the right product.
Exactly.
And I think that shift has only happened because the awareness is there now, and guys want to know. It's the same as everyone. I think guys specifically like information. They don't necessarily want to read the instructions, but they want to be, and that's why GQ and Esquire and pretty much every publication around the world, they have focused far more on what we wear, how we dress, what we eat, how we exercise, all of those different things. And I think for guys that before, it wasn't necessarily cool to you wouldn't talk to your friend over dinner about what skincare you're using. That would most you would talk about the cricket or the football or whatever it would be. But I think that conversation's starting to happen a lot more now.
So, Mr. Cho, like you are one of the best hairstylists people can come across. So I actually want to know, what do you deal with the situation? How do you deal with the situation when a customer is not satisfied?
Okay.
What if the customer is not satisfied? Because I don't think it happens usually. But what if it happens? How do you deal with this situation?
I think this applies to anything that's in the service industry, whether it's food, it can be anything. It's about expectation. So it's about managing an expectation. So, you know, you have an expectation interviewing me, you're going to get X, Y, and Z. So you have to manage that expectation. So someone comes in for a haircut, and the key is that you're managing that expectation of how the client sees themselves in a mirror, what they're expecting to see at the end, what they want, how much they're prepared to spend, you know, and the advice they're going to get and the products that are going to be used. So all of what we do is about managing someone else's expectation. So as long as you're clear with your communication about, I can achieve this, this is not achievable, this is what it's going to be like, and you do the consultation at the start as well as you possibly can, the chances of you having a complaint diminish, quite significantly. If someone is genuinely unhappy, and we do have it from time to time across all of the brands, you know, when you're interacting with someone one-on-one, you don't always get on with everybody. That's just life. So at some point there's a breakdown, and we get it, I don't know, very occasionally. So what we do is we try to rectify it with somebody else doing the haircut, or offer them complimentary services. You know, it's taken very seriously. You know, we take our customer service very seriously, but I do equally. So if I go out for dinner and someone spills something on my lap, the food's cold and there's a hair in it, I won't be happy, because my world is client facing. So it's all about just management and doing it well.
Okay, Mr. Joe, like you, I consider you, like everyone considers you, an expert when it comes to your hair care. So I have a question that is actually regarding the problem which I face a lot. I have curly hair, right?
Yeah.
So I actually want to ask you that what is the routine that a person with curly hair should follow? Because they get very frizzy and sometimes they are breaking.
Correct. I think with any hair type, and we'll just talk about the questions you're asking to do with curly hair. The most important thing is that the shampoo that you're using is suitable for that hair type. And if you've got curly or wavy hair that can feel quite brittle, it needs moisturizing. So you need to make sure the shampoo that you're using has got is a moisturizing agent in it. And equally, you should be using a conditioner, which will help calm it down and control it. The other thing is that with guys is that often people don't want to use a product because they don't want their hair feeling heavy or greasy or something like that. So the key is to find a product that like for you, for example, you can put in your hair when it's damp and then not have to worry about it. So for me, it's all about leave-in conditioners, or you can get some products that are almost like curl, specifically for curly hair. There's a Kevin Murphy a brand from Australia do a product called Motion Lotion, which is literally like a liquid. Squirt it in your hand, rub it in, put it through your hair, push your hair back, and just leave it, and it just soaks into the hair, keeps it shiny. You can run your fingers through it. It's about finding the product that works for you. But for me, the core level is always to make sure that you cleanse it properly and you condition it, and then curly hair becomes so much more manageable.
Well, that I hope that would be helpful. Next
I'll
question for you.
I'll send you some links to some products as well. I'll send some
I
over
would
to
be
you.
really grateful, because when it comes to Australian products, I actually want the list of it because they can be actually helpful. And I was actually trying to get my hands on Baxter of California and Aesop. But Baxter of California is out of stock in Australia. Like I wanted my friend to send it to me, but he said that it is out of stock.
Yeah, a lot of the product companies, I think that there's been a lot of issues, you know, just I think generally around the world with lots of different products, where because a lot of either the packaging or the components for the lids came out of China or wherever, there's been a massive backlog. I've got some products coming out later this year, and we're 6 months delayed because of the lids. We couldn't get the lids. But if you message me your address, and I'll get one of the guys to package you something up and send it out to you.
Well, that's good. I'll be waiting for the link which you will send me for regarding my curly hair. Well, Mr. Joe, next two questions which I have in the Sears category, they're basically about the show the show that I've started.
Yeah.
And that question is, what has been the most struggling moment of your life?
In my whole life?
Yeah. It doesn't have to be your profession related.
No, no,
It,
no,
it
no,
has
no.
to be
Yeah, yeah,
like,
no. Yeah. I think from a bit. I think most of the stuff I get through. You know, my stress level is pretty high anyway, just because of having businesses. And I think there are moments when, as an independent business person on your own, when you sit there and you know, it's on you. Everything's on you, and that is the times when you kind of sit there questioning, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And how do I pull it together? And I think that's happened, happens, maybe once a year, maybe once every 5 years, I don't know. But yeah, through COVID, that's one of those times, you sit there going, why am I doing what am I doing? So yeah, so for me, I think that's probably the single most challenging times of my life is around that.
so, Mr. Joe, there are moments in your life when a person feels down, and when a person feels that, okay, I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah.
So what is that thing in your life that keeps you bright in the darkest of times?
I think for the last 11 years since I've had a son, it's knowing that this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, to give him a better life, to be a strong role model, to show him that you can get through things, and that, stuff doesn't always go how you want it to go, but there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. I think the last couple of years I've spent a lot more time meditating, and I've put a lot of energy into that. And also as well, I've learned to realize that there are a lot of things that are out of my control. So and I kind of say, don't sweat the little things. The small things in life, they are what they are. So for me, it's about being able to look at the bigger picture, take a breath, and step back and go, I do this for my son, and I do this for the people around me that are important to me, and making sure that I can respond to that.
So that is really good. Like, that is actually an amazing thing. Like, your inspiration comes from inspiring others.
Correct. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Listen. It's not. I'm really fortunate. I've had a lot of opportunity, and I've worked really, really hard, and it doesn't just come to me. I have to push and strive and all of those kind of things, and that takes energy and strength and those kind of things. But I'm quite I'm very humble in what I do, and I really am very lucky to have a lot of people around me that have supported me. So for me to be able to return that and to support those guys, or to mentor people and stuff like that, then that's a real honor, and I get a lot of pleasure from that.
That is great. That is a beautiful thing, Mr. Joe. That is really good.
Thank you.
Okay.